Well, I tell you why I would not even have gotten excited had they won yesterday is because you're still down Musgrove and Darvish. That means that at some point you're going to have to figure out who starts in Rich Hill's place because Rich Hill should never, ever toe the slab again, especially in a starting capacity for the San Diego Padres. We've seen enough. It was a bad deal. It didn't work out. Kudos for trying, I guess. But I don't.
But also, doesn't matter.
No, and that's my overarching point here is even had they won and they battled back and,
Does it matter if Rich Hill starts again?
Oh, well, not really. Not really. But
I mean, unless there's somebody that you really want to see in a starting role
but
that
I think
hasn't had a chance yet.
I think the point is you're going to get that that's what Rich Hill has shown us that he is. So even if you did find a way to win that game yesterday, you're going to have to do that every 5 days when he pitches, pretty much. And that's a lot to ask of any team to do that, to come down from that many runs.
I mean, I'd rather see Matt Waldron starting at this point.
Sure.
And not that Matt Waldron's been good, but he's been serviceable as like a guy who could be like a 6th or 7th starter. The knuckleball can keep guys off balance a little bit. I mean, he's never going to blow anyone away. He's certainly not someone you'd want to rely on at a huge game. But if you need to start Matt Waldron 2 or 3 times, in a season or down the stretch because someone's injured, you could do worse.
But, I mean, here we go again with the San Diego Padres getting down to September and absolutely just running out of pitching. Just running out of pitching completely. The Arrieta, Velasquez days, we all remember those. We obviously know what happened last year in the playoffs. They just run out of pitching, and there's no one that you can turn to in AAA or AA that you can come up and say, yeah, bring it on. Now,
that's an interesting point that you make, Woods, because you think about the examples that you gave. And, of course, there was 2020 when they ran out of pitching in the postseason.
In the short season.
When Dinelson Lamet got hurt.
Yep.
And they were dealing with bullpen days against the Cardinals and the Dodgers. I didn't even really think about last year. They get to the NLCS, but Clevenger and Minaya were completely useless.
Shut down and useless.
By the end of the postseason.
They didn't use these guys at all down the stretch, really.
And then you have the 2021 and 18, 19 kind of years that – the failure years that, yes, the pitching dried up at the end. I mean, this isn't the exception. This is the rule.
Well,
somehow every year. Now, I know pitching, a lot of teams can run out of pitching, but now it's every year the Padres are running out of pitching. Even in their good years, they're running out of pitching at the end of the season. Why is that? What's the cause of that?
And please don't misinterpret what I'm saying. The pitching this season has been fantastic.
Of course.
Up until...
as it was in 2020,
right.
As it was in the first half of 2021.
When you don't have any well to pull from, when there's nothing that you can bring to help soften the blow a little bit. Now, the offense has been the issue this year. We all know that. The offense has been horrible. The big four, I mean, plenty of chances yesterday to get it done. Manny and Xander, big opportunity there for them in the 8th inning. And then, of course, we saw how it ended. So it's just really, really unfortunate. But, yeah, that really has been the theme since we've started covering the team. They run out of arms every single year without anything else in the development zone, really, that can help you immediately. Sure, there's 4 or 5 guys that are going to be great, hopefully, in the next couple of years.
If A.J. doesn't trade them first,
right?
It should give A.J. or whoever is the general manager a lot of pause before. I know you'll have to make some trades at some point. You can't just hold on to every minor leaguer, and you've got some fixes that you need on your own roster, and it'll take a trade or two. But you need to keep as many of those minor league arms as possible because not all of them will come through and not all of them will hit. But you need to have 6 or 7 of those guys in the minor leagues so that 1 or 2 of them can be called up and perhaps succeed at the big league level. But when you only have 1 or 2 and you have some injuries, all of a sudden, boy, it dries up really fast at the end of the season. We see that now year after year after year under A.J. Preller.
Yeah, that's been the bugaboo for this team. And again,
it really is 4 years in a row.
Yeah, offense could have bailed out this bullpen. Offense could have bailed out. The starters, they have the most quality. They have 5 starters with 10 or more quality starts. That's a playoff team, man. That's a playoff team. Nobody else has that. And for us to be sitting here in this position, 8 games below 500, whatever we are, is embarrassing. The offense should be embarrassed. They really, really waited too long and of course, against the Giants. We're watching Soto hit a bomb every day. We're watching Manny hit bombs, in Sunday's game or Saturday's game. It just, when the pressure's off, no problem. When the pressure's on, we've seen what happens with this team. It's been terrible. And so they could have. The offense was supposed. Remember, we were talking at the beginning of the year, guys. It's not. Lugo is a question mark and Walker is a question mark. It's not going to matter when you score 9 runs a game. Shoot, they score 9 runs a game once or twice a week, maybe, and the rest is just. And in the big spots, man, they just never seem to come through. It's really, really tough to watch. So I was not going to get excited if they won that game yesterday, because I know that there's now 5 more games they're going to have to figure out the week ahead, and Rich Hill could be part of that equation, and there's just no way.
It's fair. I did think for a second, though, that it might happen yesterday. In fact,
I did. I thought they could win that game, which would have been cool to win 4.
So it had been 5 months since the only walk-off of the season, April 3rd.
5 months.
And when Ha-Sung Kim, who had the one walk-off, came up, and is he going to do it again? Or I thought even better, the Padres tie it up, win their first game in extra innings, get their first 4-game winning streak of the season, and get their first big comeback of the year, all wrapped up in one win. Would have felt a little cathartic, even if it didn't ultimately make a difference in the end. It would have at least gotten that absolute crushing boulder that they've been carrying off their backs a little bit. But it's just not going to happen. It's just not happening this season.
It's one of the best, most creative tweets I've ever seen in my life from Mr. Checksman. Tweeted us this morning a picture of 2 kids playing the ageless game, Connect 4, right? And there's a little boy on the left, little girl on the right. The little girl's wearing a San Diego Padres hat. The little boy is wearing a hat with every other major league team on it, the logo for every other team. And it said Padres can't connect 4. The classical vertical 4-in-a-row game. Every team in the big leagues has a 4-game winning streak this season, except for the San Diego Padres. It is. I knew it. They knew they weren't going to get it because of who was on the mound. I mean, I was so bummed. I almost thought to myself, is there nothing you can do? Like, you've won 3 in a row. You got some good momentum. You just beat the hell out of the Giants. You can beat the Phillies. You can clearly. Taijuan Walker is not. They hit him around pretty well. Like, can you switch something up at the last minute? Can you start somebody else? Can we do anything differently? Because I think you want to keep winning games right now, and that is just the most epic punt to roll him out there again.